another team that we think can compete for the national title, a team that played in the national title game last year and has a quarterback competition. I realize both teams that played in the national title game last year have a quarterback competition, but the one that feels the hottest right now, that feels like we know the least, is Notre Dame. CJ Carr, presumed for most of the offseason to be the guy. Kenny Minchey flashed in the spring game a little bit. Steve Angeli leaves. And you're thinking, okay, what does this mean for Kenny Minchey? Now it looks like it's a very close competition. They have a scrimmage this weekend. I don't know if Marcus Freeman has any plans to name anybody, but Marcus Freeman does not strike me as the kind of guy who's going to just fart around and not name somebody, or send somebody out to take all the first team reps for 2 weeks of practice and expect it not to get out. So I think we're probably going to hear something sooner rather than later. And I am very intrigued to see where this winds up.
You've been blowing my mind all week with things that I forgot. So let's try it again. When's the last time we spent an entire offseason presuming the starter will be somebody and then that person lost a quarterback battle in the fall?
It's a good question. So you covered the 2015 Ohio State QB situation, which was not this. That was a completely different situation because you had a guy who had been the starter.
There was no presumption at all.
Yeah, there was no presumption. Nobody knew if it was going to be JT Barrett or Cardale Jones. I am trying to remember. I think there have been some cases where some freshmen wound up winning the job, but not like that. Not where there was all this hype and this presumption. Because remember,
Kenny Minchey actually won the job. That would be amongst some of the most shocking quarterback position battle results I can remember. No?
I guess it's interesting because we're so weird about this, because it feels like, and I guess the same thing with Julian Sain and Lincoln Keenholz at Ohio State. Like, we just discount the older guy. We're like, well, if he was that good, they would have already started him. These guys were all big time recruits. Like, everybody we're talking about was a big time recruit. It's not like they weren't good quarterbacks coming out of high school, or they're playing. Stetson Bennett was the odd situation. Now, he didn't win an opening day starting job. In fact, he had to just keep winning it after not starting opening day.
Yeah. And it's really, really hard to remember who we presumed would be the starter in the past. And we got a lot of emails, Andy, when we asked for crazy game ending emails that we forgot. Yeah. We're copied on a lot of the same emails, and they're all really good suggestions. I wonder if somebody could be like, yeah, I remember that time. Like, Oklahoma thought this guy was going to start all off. It'd be like we talked about this with George Stoya yesterday, but the Rhett Bomar situation, obviously Rhett Bomar was going to be Oklahoma's starting quarterback. Now, he got kicked off the team, so that was a different situation. But that threw the whole thing into chaos right before the season started. So I can't remember one, because it would have been to call back to Spencer Rattler. It would have been like if Lincoln Riley had decided Caleb Williams was going to start over Spencer Rattler. Yeah. But even then, that would have been a 5-star.
But Spencer Rattler had finished the previous season as the starter, so it wasn't. This job's open. Like, Riley Leonard was the guy. He graduated, and now it's open.
But this isn't even just like, people lose their jobs in the season all the time. It's the battle in their own camp before they play games that always is kind of dicey to me, because it's like, I always believe this, and a reporter told me this when I was first starting my career, and it just has always stood with me. He said, believe what the coaches do more than what they say.
Oh,
and I think it's true.
100%.
And what Notre Dame did not, this wasn't a Kenny Minchey plan. So, and that doesn't mean he might not be the best. Maybe he's the best. I don't know. We'll find out. But it would be weird.
Did we feel that way? Did we think Alex Orji was going to win the job last year at Michigan, and then Davis Warren won it?
I'm thinking more of like highly rated recruit, incumbent, waited his turn. They don't go out and get a transfer. Like, the table is set. Like, Orji was just like there because they didn't have anyone else.
But then but in this case, in Notre Dame's case, Minchey's the older guy. He's been there longer than CJ Carr, 1 year longer, but 1 year longer.
Yeah. And did not come into the game last year.
Neither one did.
Yeah.
Steve Angeli did, and he's now at Syracuse waiting to see if Fran Brown's going to name him the starter.
Yeah. That would suck, by the way, for Angeli. I hope he wins the job.
But the thing is, if Kenny Minchey wins the Notre Dame job, it means he was already over Angeli on the depth chart when Angeli left.
Yeah. But I mean, Angeli would rather probably be a backup at Notre Dame than Syracuse, is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Or, yeah. But like this is an interesting one because the intel here is making it feel like it's a real battle. And I know the intel at Ohio State is kind of in the same thing, but it doesn't feel that one's not a real competition.
You've seen reports out of Ohio State that Sayan was starting to distance himself.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, they still haven't said anything definitive there either.
In the job, this is the same exact level of surprise to me. This isn't
I would agree.
Kenny Minchey isn't good enough. This is a coach had a plan, a succession plan in order, and then veered off that succession plan because somebody else in camp that we didn't talk about at all in the offseason beat the incumbent in a fair and square battle in their own practice. Like I'm probably forgetting one, but like that doesn't happen.
Oh, and there's the Kenny Minchey backflip from the spring game.
But that's why I'm like, I think that Carr's going to start. That's why I think that Sayan's going to start, because what did the coaches do? What did they do?
Well, and also like with Notre Dame, we can go back to Deuce Knight, who's now a freshman at Auburn, but he was committed to Notre Dame for a long time. It felt like he decommitted at about the same time this succession plan that we thought was in place was put in place, but maybe it wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah. But hey, I'm all for August quarterback battle drama. I mean, like, I'm happy that we'll be tracking this, but like, I don't think that Minchey's going to win the job just based on Marcus Freeman's route and avenue.
I don't know. I think there's a chance, and there's enough smoke now that it feels like there's a real chance that Minchey wins it. We may have an answer by the time we do Monday's show. That's what's so interesting to me, Ari, is we may get the answer to this thing.
Yeah. I don't think this is going to be a week before situation. So, I don't think that that's the way to do it. As I voiced on Tuesday, I don't anticipate that that's what's going to happen here either. Hopefully
my thing is, once you've turned the page to prep for your opening day opponent, once you've stopped working on yourself and you've started working on the game plan, you better know who's your QB1.
Also, just a random aside that's about football, believe it or not. Like, why wouldn't LSU spend the entire fall camp preparing for Clemson? It's such a big game. Like, why don't you spend? I never understood the wait till the week before thing. Like, I would install
to make sure that everybody knows what they are supposed to do.
I know.
In their offense and their defense,
and we got to know I get it.
Yeah, but that's all it is. It's making sure that everybody learned the offense if they're playing offense, and everybody learned the defense if they're playing defense, before you then turn it to the scout teamers running the other team's plays.
Yeah.
That's really it. It's knowing as an offensive lineman, knowing all your rules.
Yeah. But I guess maybe that's the idea of like having a veteran team. Maybe you don't have to do that as much because you have more players that know what they're doing.
Correct. And Notre Dame in that situation, with the exception of the QB, has a lot of veterans on that team.
I'm just saying LSU better be ready. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Clemson.
Well, yeah.